Welcome back, true believers and all you merry Marvelites, to another very exciting episode of Avengers Project 101. So if you've been keeping up with my previous videos, you would have seen one where I fully discussed the possible marketing layout that Marvel's Avengers could have building up to its full release on May 15th, 2020. And within that video, I basically said that there is one event coming up relatively soon which could showcase off more footage of the game in action. Well, luckily for us, not only will Marvel's Avengers actually be showing up at this event in full force, but it will also be accompanied by the other AAA Marvel games that are being made, with that of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 and Iron Man VR. And in case you're unaware as to which event I'm talking about, I'm mainly referring to the one and only San Diego Comic-Con, which will be taking place from July 17th to July 21st. So to bring you guys all up to speed, Marvel Games and Marvel Entertainment fully posted the entirety of their schedules on their own website, showcasing what fans can actually expect throughout this year's convention. This doesn't just relate to the big three Marvel games which we currently know about, specifically relating to the Avengers project, but it also includes some very interesting news regarding Spider-Man PS4. And alongside of all of this, we also have a very interesting article posted on IGN's website from a statement relating to the president of Square Enix discussing his expectations for the Avengers project. So if you're someone who wants to learn anything and everything relating to this year's Comic-Con and Marvel's presence there, I highly recommend that you stay through the entirety of this video. So first up is the main article from Marvel's website, fully discussing everything that you can expect from the big Marvel games attending at this year's convention. And with the article itself, it states Marvel Games descends upon San Diego Comic-Con 2019 with heroic lineup. Assemble with Marvel Games, including a Hall H panel in San Diego starting July 17th through July 21st. True believers, Marvel Games celebrates the 50th anniversary of Comic-Con International by assembling an action-packed lineup in San Diego, with a Hall H return, booth appearances, playable demos, and more. The creative minds and incredible teams behind some of Marvel's hottest games will deliver the latest breaking news, grant inside access to the creative process, and allow you to be among the first to play not yet released games. With so many games and opportunities at your fingertips, we've got the breakdown of everything that's happening in and around the convention floor starting Wednesday, July 17th through Sunday, July 21st, coming from Marvel Games. So first up is the biggest day that you can expect to receive a bunch of new footage for all these upcoming Marvel games is in fact the Marvel Games panel on July 18th at 1:30 p.m. within Hall H. Get an inside look at the latest and greatest from Marvel Games. Attendees will see exciting new content from Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, Marvel's Iron Man VR, and Marvel's Avengers, with many unannounced surprises and panel exclusives. Host Greg Miller will be joined by Bill Roseman and other special guests from titles throughout the Marvel Games family. So just like within last year's San Diego Comic-Con, where we received a buttload of new information relating to Spider-Man PS4 as well as a brand new story trailer, I definitely think something similar is going to be occurring with all three of these Marvel games. And just as a reminder for those of you who may not be able to physically attend Comic-Con this year or actually forgot what happened with last year's panel, is that there was a whole lot of info relating to Spider-Man PS4, but there was actually the whole opening cutscene showcase to the audience attending Comic-Con. So while there may be a lot of footage revealed to the public after it is showcased during this Marvel Games panel, there may be some exclusive scenes that will be shown behind closed doors, just like the gameplay from E3 2019. And while I'm aware this may upset some of you, given that you do want to see how the game actually plays, I still think we will receive a lot of awesome announcements for all these games, and mainly for the Avengers project during the Marvel Games panel. Considering that the A-Day trailer from E3 2019 was essentially a story trailer wrapped up with some snippets of gameplay, I do believe that the Comic-Con trailer that we could receive of this game could showcase more bits of the story without fully spoiling it, or possibly reveal a brand new character. And given that Bill Roseman was heavily teasing Hawkeye's involvement within this game back during E3 2019, I could see them showcasing a trailer for that specific character, or maybe another character that a lot of people are looking forward to, like that of Black Panther. However, even though I don't personally believe we're actually going to see this information be unveiled during the panel, I would just love to know what the exclusive PS4 benefits are tailored to the Avengers project. And who knows, there is a possibility that the PS4 content could relate to the inclusion of Spider-Man PS4 within the Marvel's Avengers universe, or it could also relate to the possibility of having the Impulse armor from Iron Man VR somehow be featured within the Avengers project. Not to mention that I also fully believe that we will see the cast members appear within this panel, like that of Nolan North, Troy Baker, and the rest of the cast, and also possibly see some merchandise items that do relate to the game overall. But considering how fun and entertaining the Marvel Games panel was last year, I definitely think we are in for a huge treat within this year's panel on July 18th. But as for the biggest question I know almost all of you are asking is, will we actually end up seeing a publicly playable gameplay demo for Marvel's Avengers Avengers at San Diego Comic-Con? And sadly to say, everybody, I do think the answer to that question is no. While I do fully believe we will inevitably see another story trailer for the Avengers project, along with possibly a new character at Comic-Con, the newest description for the overall attendance of Marvel games doesn't really imply that we will see a demo at the convention itself. And as this section of the article states, which basically goes over which games will be playable at the Marvel-related booths, is Suit Up and Soar in the special hands-on demo for the Ultimate Armored Avenger experience. Marvel's Iron Man VR at the Marvel booth number 2329. Then make your way to the Square Enix booth number 3829 and reassemble with Earth's Mightiest Heroes before Marvel's Avengers May 15th, 2020 release. And finally, get your hands on Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 The Black Order at the Nintendo booth number 235 to celebrate its launch, available worldwide on Friday, July 19th. So to confirm, everyone, Iron Man VR and Ultimate Alliance 3 will 100% have playable gameplay demos at San Diego Comic-Con. However, as I said previously, it does look like the Avengers project will only receive some new footage that will be released to the public and possibly some more gameplay shown behind closed doors. And while I'm still unsure as to what they're specifically going to show for the game during Comic-Con, I am still very excited as to what Square Enix and Marvel have in store. But on the other hand, for those of you who are actually able to physically attend Comic-Con this year, there are going to be a whole ton of awesome signings for fans to partake in relating to all three of these Marvel games. So first up on this list is none other than Marvel's Avengers, which is going to have an awesome fan signing on July 18th from 5 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. at the Marvel booth. And as the description states, meet the talent behind one of the most anticipated games, Marvel's Avengers, which arrives simultaneously for the PS4, Xbox One, Google Stadia, and PC on May 15th, 2020, including Nolan North, Troy Baker, Laura Bailey, Jeff Shine, and Travis Willingham, as well as Sean Eskai and Bill Roseman, who will be attending the panel directly. So if you're someone who's beyond hyped for the Avengers project like I am, I would highly recommend that you attend this fan signing if you do want to meet the majority of the cast and crew working on this game. Now, as we move on with the two other big Marvel games on this list, they do actually have two separate events for each game, which will be taking place on two separate days. So for both games' cases, with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 and Iron Man VR, they will essentially both have huge fan signings and live playable demos at Marvel's booth within the con. So to start off with MUA 3, the action RPG Marvel Ultimate Alliance series returns with its next chapter for the first time in 10 years, exclusively on the Nintendo Switch system on July 19th. Get ready to meet some of the creative and production talent behind the game, including story and scriptwriter Mark Sumerak. And as for the live playable demo of MUA 3 within the Marvel booth, it's actually going to take place on July 20th because of how the game actually publicly releases to everyone on July 19th. But still, as the description states, live from Marvel's main stage, watch Josh Soleil, Nore Davis, Ryan Penagos, and special guests form an Ultimate Alliance in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3's galactic-size adventure. With dozens of playable superheroes at their fingertips, who will they choose to prevent cosmetic devastation? So if you're someone who's super eager for more Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 news, these are the two events I highly suggest that you check out for yourself if you are actually attending the con. Now, as for the last Marvel game, which will have a relatively big presence at Comic-Con, is one that I am very interested in, is none other than Marvel's Iron Man VR. And just like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, this game will have both a fan signing and a live playable demo at the convention within Marvel's booth. So first up to describe the fan meeting is meet the talent behind the Ultimate Iron Man fantasy game, exclusively for PlayStation VR, including Ryan Payton, Bill Roseman, Tim Sang, and legendary Marvel illustrator and costume designer Adi Granov. But what I'm the most interested in relating to this game's presence at Comic-Con is the live playable demo at the Marvel booth. And as this description states, witness the high-octane thrills as Josh Soleil and Nora Davis suit up and blast off into the world of Marvel's Iron Man VR, including commentary and tips by Ryan Payton. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this means that they will showcase a playable demo of Iron Man VR at Comic-Con, or the people attending the convention can actually play it for themselves, similar to that of Ultimate Alliance 3. But regardless if you're excited for any one of these huge Marvel games with Marvel's Avengers, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, or Marvel's Iron Man VR, this is just a huge win for Marvel fans and gamers all around. And I, for one, can't wait to see what's going to be unveiled for all these games during the Comic-Con timeframe. And funny enough, even though all of this Marvel game news will be occurring during those specific days in July, there is actually another awesome event that will be taking place on July 19th that directly relates to Spider-Man, and more specifically Spider-Man PS4. So adding on to the primary Marvel games panel on July 18th, there also is going to be a full-on Marvel Comics panel relating to Spider-Man on July 19th. This doesn't just relate to the wider scope of Spider-Man's presence within the world of comics, but it also relates to the main main tie-in series of Spider-Man PS4 was City at War. And as the panel's description states, get caught in Spider-Man's tangled web along with exclusive editor Nick Lowe, assistant editor Kathleen Wisniewski, as well as writers Nick Spencer, Shannon McGuire, and Frank Thierry to find out what's going on the horizon for all of your wall-crawling favorites. Plus, don't miss an exclusive giveaway variant comic of Spider-Man City at War issue 5. The stunning rendering by Scon depicts an homage to the classic Amazing Spider-Man number 3 cover by Steve Ditko. So alongside of receiving more information about Spidey's current comic runs, it's also really cool to see the City at War comic get a lot of recognition as well. And if you thought the City at War variant cover was enough to get you hyped for Spider-Man PS4, they're also going to have an exclusive rare LEGO minifigure of the advanced suit at Marvel and LEGO's booth at Comic-Con itself. Now sadly, this LEGO minifigure will only be available for people attending the convention, so if you do actually want to get your hands on it yourself and are not able to attend Comic-Con, just keep your eyes out on eBay after the convention is over. But I know for a genuine fact I'm going to pick up everything I could possibly find relating to Spider-Man PS4 if I am able to attend Comic-Con. And speaking of Spider-Man PS4, we're now moving on to the very last part of this video discussing whether or not the quality of Marvel's Avengers could possibly surpass that of Spider-Man PS4 itself. This doesn't just come from certain fans who are very much looking forward to what the game has in store, but it also relates to the main president of Square Enix himself. Because in a recent IGN article, it does state the Square Enix president hopes Avengers will best Insomniac's Spider-Man. Now for me personally, I'm still deciding whether or not I like the aspect of Marvel's Avengers being a games as a service / live service title, as well as the fact that the game will entail microtransactions. So essentially, Spider-Man PS4 was a fully complete game when it did release all the way back in September of 2018, whereas the Avengers project is actually going to be a game that all of us can play in for years to come. And while the amount of replayability does seem extremely high for the Avengers project as to what we've heard so far, it all matters as to how the game actually plays when it does release on May 15th, 2020. But to go into what the article mainly says relating to the president's thoughts is in an interview with GamesIndustry.biz, president of Square Enix Yosuke Matsuda spoke about the success they are hoping Marvel's Avengers will see, specifically in comparison to Marvel's Spider-Man for PS4. Spider-Man was a huge title and a major success, so we would like to work hard to have that kind of success, Matsuda said. So I guess it did increase my expectations for Avengers. I do believe you have to have high goals. I thought that Spider-Man was fantastic, but we don't want to be bested by them. We are working very hard on the development effort right now, so that we are able to provide a new experience. Matsuda also explained why Square decided to work with 5 studios and how it's not that shocking of a decision in the modern era of video games. The lead studio on the project is Crystal Dynamics, and Eidos Montreal is supporting them. And there's support from Netherlands studio Nixies, and they're interacting with each other in a variety of different ways, he said. But when you talk about blockbuster or AAA games these days, in general, you'll find your resources are too limited if you try to develop them only at a single studio. For that reason, a variety of studios are collaborating with one another. One of Square Enix's main focuses with Marvel's Avengers is creating new experiences for players that are also fulfilling, which Matsuda says can be challenging but overall also helps them bring those new abilities into future titles. It doesn't have to be a licensing arrangement, but this time with Marvel, we decided we were going to produce a new Avengers experience that was going to be completely separate to the very famous cinematic universe. We saw this as a considerable challenge, and we thought that by doing that, it would give us experiences that we could then leverage moving forward when making other new titles, Matsuda said. So given everything I've read from this article, it definitely sounds like the entirety of the development team, specifically with the Square Enix president himself, are beyond passionate to making the best Avengers game they possibly can. But as to whether or not this game could actually top Spider-Man PS4, I don't know for sure, but if anything, I do think it could possibly be as good as what that game set forth. But in the end, I guess we'll just have to wait until May 15th, 2020, and mainly with San Diego Comic-Con to find out for sure. But with all that said, everyone, that's the video I have for you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think of all this crazy Comic-Con news relating to all the Marvel games coming out, and what do you specifically want to see be showcased for Marvel's Avengers during the con? As I said previously, just like how Ant-Man was showcased during the end of E3 2019, I think we are going to get another character trailer of the main roster expanded during the Comic-Con panel. Still, I am keeping my fingers crossed that they will hopefully tease or describe in detail as to what the exclusive PS4 benefits are relating to Marvel's Avengers. And until that time comes, everyone, thank you all so much for watching, stay merry Marvelites, and peace out.
Well, what are we waiting for?
No pressure, right?
Is that a joke?
I have a habit of making bad jokes in tense situations.